Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2023.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's 2023.
I know, right?
This year went by fast.
Yeah, like this year was a good 6 weeks shorter than last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? At least something like that, about 6 weeks.
And
about
maybe a few months shorter than the year before.
Yeah, maybe. Welcome to Film Seizure, everybody. My name is Jeff Arbuckle. You've already heard my co-host, Jason Oliver.
Hey.
Chuck Moore.
Yo.
Hey, yo.
I need to see some identification from you, Chuck.
All I've got is my medical board license. My New York medical board license.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Does that get me every access possible?
Gives you all the access.
It's like I feel like Herschel Walker. That's what he should have been flashing.
Yeah, right.
Was the New York medical board's license? Yeah,
or just repeating Fidelio. All over the place. Anyway, yes. And if you heard it, I don't know if you guys heard this, but about a minute ago, I just hit myself in the face with my own microphone.
I hope they heard it.
So that might have come through. We're off to a great start for the new year.
Well, as long as we end up where the rainbow ends, I'll be pretty happy with this episode.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fair. Yes, we are kicking the year off here in January with a string of 90s movies from some.
Yeah, did we plan that?
No,
it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
We just last week talked about 1997. We're going to talk about 1997 a little bit next week too.
Yep.
But we're kicking things off with the final film from Mr. Stanley Kubrick, Eyes Wide Shut.
Yep.
Starring two of the biggest stars in 1999.
Shit. I mean, there's still two of the biggest stars of today. At least one of them.
I mean, I see Nicole Kidman every time I go to AMC theaters. She's telling me about the magic of movies.
Yeah, she is. That's funny.
That just extends the time I have to go, have to hold my pee before the end of the movie.
But Kidman still does a lot of work. Cruise just does like one or two blockbusters a year, or every few years.
He flies his own planes. He jumps out of planes sometimes.
Yeah. Cruise doesn't do much character work anymore, which is kind of sad.
That is sad because he's very good in this, I think.
Yes.
But anyway, so Eyes Wide Shut.
Beware the eyes of shut.
Beware the eyes wide shut.
So the eyes have it. Eyes Wide Shut. I'm going to tell a little bit of a story first here, I think.
Uh-oh. Story
time.
Story time.
You're a part of it.
Have we told this story before?
Yeah, probably. Go back almost 200 episodes. So, Jason, you and I saw this movie together.
Yes.
And because a few months before this came out was the unfortunate passing of Stanley Kubrick. And we were working on that day that he died.
Yep.
At the video store. At the old video store.
So we put on some Kubrick movies in remembrance.
I think we watched...
we definitely put 2001 on.
And we definitely put Strangelove on.
Yep. Yeah, because we were still trying to keep it like family friendly.
Yeah, it's like Shining probably would have been okay, except for a couple of scenes. Clockwork Orange is right out.
Yeah, you ain't putting that in.
I mean, you could have probably put in Spartacus or Lolita, but anyway, yeah. So we kind of commiserated over the death of one of the masters of film.
Yeah.
And then we never, ever talked about Stanley Kubrick ever again.
Never.
We never did another episode that had to do with Stanley Kubrick where we could talk about. We never did a show, a movie show that talked about Stanley Kubrick ever again. We just didn't like the guy that much.
It was kind of like, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Kind of a hack, really. I mean, it's like just, I don't know, perfectionist.
Yeah.
What perfection? I don't see it.
Crack that beer, Jason.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah. I don't. You know who I like? McG.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That guy's a true
that
master.
guy's like, yeah, we got it. One take, oneer. Do it in a oneer.
Him, Michael Bay. Those
Fix
guys.
it in post.
Which is also going to be the name of this episode.
You're not going to do that.
No. No, I do it in one take.
I also saw this. I saw this twice in the theater. I saw it with our friend Joey, and I got my car towed right before that. So dummy me, a dumb kid. I was driving without a license. I got pulled over leaving your house because I was staying with your parents.
He's pointing at Chuck, by the way.
Chuck, yeah.
Because visual movement like that is perfect for a podcast.
Yeah.
This is only our 6th calendar year that we've been doing this.
They don't see me point all this time. But yeah, I was leaving to go to work. No, I wasn't leaving to go to work. I was leaving to meet Joey at our theater, the Quad.
Which is where we saw it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Or was it
it
at
wasn't
Lowe's?
playing at the Quad. I don't know where we saw it. I can't remember, but we went out to Eastgate to see it. Joey and I did.
Oh, I know where we saw it. We saw it at Carasodas.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I got on the list to go see it out at Eastgate's, fucking poor as shit. I don't want to pay. So we went out to, but yeah. So my car, I get pulled over. I wasn't even breaking the speed limit. I think that they just ran my tags because I drove this stupid fucking car that had a bunch of stickers on it. Right, I got profiled or something, and I got pulled over. And sure enough, yeah, I didn't have insurance. I was driving on a suspended license. I was fucking dumb. And he was like, "Well, sorry, I can't let you drive. We're gonna have to have your car towed." It's like, where are you going? And I had my General Cinema stuff in my car, so I just told him I was going to work. Could you just drop me off at work? Because that was where I was going anyway. And he did. The cop drove me to work. It was kind of like stand up, really. He's like, I got to tow your car, but I'll drive you to work. It's like, okay.
So, will you drive me home later?
Yeah, right. Well, Joey drove me home, and he drove to the theater after that. Because we had to drive to a different theater. Anyway, I saw it twice. That's my story about that.
Chuck, you have totally seen it twice.
I think so.
Saw it when it came out, probably.
So, actually, I didn't see it in the theater.
Oh, okay.
I saw it on video or whatever it was at the time. Probably video, I guess. Still. Yeah.
Yeah. Still,
And then I think I watched it maybe one or two other times with other people, and then just now. Whatever, 30, 20 years later.
Yeah, I probably hadn't seen this movie in at least 15 years, if not more like 20.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it when it came out.
No.
We liked it, but as I mentioned last night, and I'm going to come back to you here in a second, Chuck, because there's a part 2 to that story, I'm sure.
Oh.
But there is a major difference in what I think about this movie and what I think the point of this movie is when I was 22 compared to when I'm 45.
Sure. I've definitely have a much more mature understanding of this movie now than I did when I was 20.
Yeah. It's like when we first saw it, it's like, ooh, titties.
Right.
And now it's
Nicole
like,
Kidman's
yeah. And then it is like, oh, this is kind of frightening.
Yeah, I think I responded more to the mystery elements of it when I saw it for back in the 90s, but I definitely responded more to the marital aspects of it this time around. Big time.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Chuck, what do you think of it now?
I want to reserve that because I have a very strong opinion, but I don't know if I'm missing something.
Okay.
So I want to hear. I want to kind of let the conversation inform me because to me at this very moment, it seems like a very long and drawn out way of saying one thing.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. There's like one point and it just takes forever to make that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's what we do around here.
Yeah.
You've come to the right place, Chuck.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about watching this time? It's so weird. Like I'd forgotten so much about this movie that when he finally leaves like the the party, I was like, oh, it's almost over, right? And I looked at the time left. It was like 40 minutes left. I was like, oh, I don't remember anything else.
Right.
That happens after this.
This movie has a
Weird structure.
Yeah, the structure. This doesn't really follow a 3-act structure.
No, it's just a linear like 4 days.
Well, it goes, it crescendos to the climax in the middle of the movie, and then it's the aftermath of that is technically the 3rd act.
The denouement.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't use words like that.
En France.
You know, I'm not even sure this movie is trying to make any specific point, so I'm interested.
It's asking a question maybe more so than making a point.
Yeah, I think it's more of an examination.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was picking up on something in what I think the scene is the thesis statement of this movie. But it's not a statement. It's a emotional revelation, I guess is the word I'll use. But
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So we've got Tom
It's a
Cruise.
Christmas movie, right?
It is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
This is a Christmas movie.
There is something Christmassy in almost every shot of this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is, I think, a really interesting way of keeping you off balance. Because it's not a Christmas movie, but it takes place at Christmas, and it's very apparent that Kubrick wants you to kind of be enveloped by like Christmas in New York, right?
Yeah.
While also, and so there's so many movies that take place at Christmas in New York that are Christmas movies, and he's like, well, there's other things happening around the same time that don't give you the touchy-feelies, right?
That aren't Christmas.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that it takes place around Christmas also lets the characters make decisions and do things that you think they wouldn't normally do, or maybe dumb because people stick around through the holidays or people get emotional through the holidays. So some of their choices that they make, I think, can be made because it's the holiday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. So we got Tom Cruise, who's Dr. Bill Harford.
Dr. Bill.
Dr. Phil. Yeah. This is the closest that I think Tom Cruise will ever be Jack Nicholson. Because there are some scenes in this where it's like he's playing Jack Nicholson.
A little bit.
He's doing a little bit of the Nicholson snicker a lot.
A little bit, yeah. And some of the way he enunciates things.
Yeah.
It's
I do want to at some point in this discussion really dig into the performances, because I feel a lot of the performances are pretty uneven. I think from an actor's standpoint, I think this is one of Kubrick's laziest.
Well, there
The
could
stars
be a
were
reason.
too big for him, so he couldn't push him the way he would.
I think he wore him down too much.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of talk about how frustrated even Nicole and Tom were. As much as they worshipped Stanley, they were frustrated. Sidney Pollack was frustrated. And I don't think he got the best performances.
Well, there could also be... There is a consideration that maybe this movie is a touch unfinished, too.
Fair. I mean, he did deliver a final cut before he died.
But there were still a lot of editing that was also done.
I would love to see what the alternate takes were.
Sure.
There are hundreds of them.
Right.
You know,
So some of that could be, he's making choices that are not... that are he's ill.
Maybe.
And he's making a choice just to make a choice.
He wasn't really like sick though. He just kind of like died suddenly. I think it was a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't like he was, terminally ill when he was making the movie.
Yeah.
But we'll talk a little bit more about it. And honestly, it's one particular character in general, one particular actor in general I want to talk about. But we're not there yet.
Okay. So what kind of doctor is Dr. Bill?
He's a medicine doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what the Russian guy from every gangster movie asked him. I was like, so you're a medicine doctor?
Yeah. Well, because sometimes he's looking at naked women. Sometimes he's looking at children.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's
a general practitioner.
That's okay. He must be extremely good because I'm sure the apartment that he lives in, Central Park West is what he said.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's an expensive apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Doctors, general practitioners make money.
They do make money.
Yeah.
Really good money.
Well,
especially
I make
in New
money
York.
too.
But when I say make money,
You're talking about good money.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you make
you're-
money. They make money.
Oh, okay.
He's
they
running.
print
He's
money.
He's running a practice. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, and it's like a 9-to-5 job too. And he also makes house calls
He does.
for the rich and famous.
He
so
does. He
that is
primarily
probably pretty
works
damn
with-
good too.
Right. He seems to primarily work with people who have money.
Well,
And I think he gets a little
when
bit of
your
money.
practice is in Central Park West, most people have money. Yeah,
Sure.
I feel like he probably gets kicked some money too because his relationship with Ziegler seemed like there's a question about why does he invite us every year? Well, you find out kind of why.
Discretion.
Yes,
Yeah.
discretion, and there's probably some money there too, I'm guessing.
For sure.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
another person in this. Sidney Pollack's mansion in probably also Central Park.
Yeah, it's probably just a huge townhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude's loaded.
That dude is super
Oh, yeah.
loaded.
He has-
Everybody
he has
in this
extreme
movie
fuck
is
you money.
loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in this movie, except for some of the dregs that Bill meets on his Odyssey, which, by the
Some
way,
of them won't even take money from him, or
Yeah.
won't, but do.
well, he forces it.
Yeah.
So he's kind of throwing money all around, really.
Oh, he carries a lot of cash.
He does. Now, granted, in 1999,
It was a cash economy.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he and his wife, Alice, they have a daughter, Helena,
Barely in the movie.
barely in the movie, but an important figure sort of
Yeah.
in this movie.
Oh, certainly.
They are, the movie opens with Nicole Kidman getting undressed just to kind of tell us what we're in for,
Right.
which is pretty great. It's pretty great. I mean, still 22-year-old Jeff is still inside here. And he still is like, this is pretty great opening.
Keep him inside.
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Little Jeff
please.
is going to
Keep
stay on
little
the
Jeff
inside.
inside. Yeah.
But he's also fist pumping the air saying, keep up the great work.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so it's telling us off the top, it's like you're in for a sexual odyssey.
Yeah, it does, but there's also something about it that creates a familiarity.
Yes. Oh yeah, because the next time we see her,
She's using a restroom.
she's peeing.
Yeah.
We're watching her pee.
Yeah, in a tiny little New York bathroom. With Tom Cruise trying to like hurry her up.
It's like she's our wife also.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a familiarity there, and so Kubrick is kind of like he's playing on that erotic gaze, but he's also juxtaposing it with, this is the beautiful woman that Dr. Bill goes home with every morning,
Right.
or goes to sleep to every night. But there's a disconnect that we're going to start to examine here.
Yeah, well, so they're going to go to this party over at Sidney Pollack's place.
Ziegler.
Yeah. And it's a Christmas party. It's a big Christmas party, and everybody who's somebody is at this party, including weirdo Hungarian Dracula predator sex pests.
Sandor?
Something like that. It sounds like a
Who's
Ghostbusters
that
monster.
actor? Because he kind of reminds me of George Hamilton too.
A little bit.
He's
Sky Dumont?
He's just got that one scene, and he really, Sky.
Does he
Sky
really only
Dumont.
have one scene? I feel like he has two.
Does he?
I feel like he's in. Well, we don't know who's there, but I feel like
that's
he's
true.
in.
He's
this-
probably there. He's probably at the sex cult.
I would imagine so, but
Yeah.
you don't see him.
Right.
And you don't hear because it's not the guy in red either.
I tried to
that's-
figure out who it
that's,
was.
That's the Stanley Kubrick guy.
Yeah, that's his personal assistant for decades.
Yeah.
So that was not someone we knew in the movie. I was trying to figure that out. Okay.
No, that's Leon Vitali.
Okay. I mean, it could have been anyone in the costume, but I thought I was trying to associate it with a character we'd seen. if
Right.
that makes
No,
sense.
no, not a character we'd seen. Leon Vitali. He was Stanley Kubrick's personal assistant since The Shining, I think. And
He was in Barry Lyndon.
yeah. Oh, yes, he was. I think he was as an actor. Yeah, that's where they met.
Lord Bullington.
Really interesting guy. There's a documentary about him called Film Worker, and his relationship with Stanley Kubrick that I highly recommend.
I'll have to watch that sometime. Okay, so they're at this Christmas party.
Right, and they're at this Christmas. Now, we get a little bit of like the day-to-day type stuff. Like we learned very quickly that really probably Alice takes care of most things at home.
She doesn't have a job.
Well, she doesn't have a job. We find out that, but like he has to ask her, "What's our babysitter's name again?"
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so it's like he's kind of aloof, but not annoyingly so.
It's kind of
because
like
he's kind of a good guy, but at the same time, he's also kind of like he has other things going on.
Well, this party's also important to him because regardless of whether or not, as they say later, they don't know anybody else there, this is an important client.
Yeah, this is a rich guy who wants us there.
Yeah.
We better show up at the rich guy's place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to this party, and Alice gets immediately smashed.
yeah.
It's like she is really drunk.
She's not comfortable there.
No.
The first scene of the movie might be the only scene in the movie where we see her sober or fully awake
Right.
until the very
Until
end.
the very last scene. Yeah.
Until the very end.
Which even then, I mean, she's exhausted because they were up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Continue.
I guess,
Sorry.
you know, yeah. Tom Cruise is off, Dr. Bill is off kind of just talking to people, and he runs into these two models.
After
who
he
kind of
sees
corner
the
him.
pianist first.
That's true. Nick Nightingale is important.
They split up because he sees his old medical student friend that he went to school with who's playing the piano.
Top
and,
field.
Yeah.
and he wants to bring Alice over and introduce her.
Right.
She's like, I got to use the restroom. Let's just meet at the bar. Right. So they split up.
And apparently there was also drinks in the bathroom too, because next time we see her, she
leaves.
is sloshed.
She leaves the room and she grabs a glass of champagne.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So she's just constantly grabbing champagne on the trays. But this is kind of like one of those moments in a marriage or in a life, right? Like everything happens in the movie because they split up at this point.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes. And yes, 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 and yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it does.
because the later stuff is driven by the angst or the anxiety that builds up over what happens.
Yep.
And-
So Nick Nightingale talks to Dr. Bill, and he's like, "Hey, you should see me. I'm in town playing at this little place. I'm pretty sure most of this was probably shot in Soho or something.
It wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
Well, it's supposed to be in the village.
Right.
They use establishing shots, but almost all of it was shot at Pinewood.
Really?
They reconstructed Greenwich Village in Pinewood Studios.
You could tell.
I could tell badly.
I was
very distracted by it.
Me too. I was like, Stephanie, this looks like an actual set, and I don't normally notice that. Like, it was pretty obvious.
There's also some really bad green screen of Tom Cruise walking to camera with like Greenwich Village green screen behind him. And it's
really?
Is that like an HD upconvert problem? Like, it probably looked better when it wasn't in such good.
I didn't watch it in 4K. I watched it on Blu-ray. Did you watch it in 4K?
No, I just watched it on Blu-ray.
All right. Well, I mean, I found it very noticeable.
I didn't though. That was weird. I don't know. The one thing I did notice that you get right away at the party is the soft focus light, the kind of the hazy glow.
It's kind of dreamlike. A lot of this movie
all
is
of the interiors,
leaning
but
into
that's
dreamy stuff.
I
But
thought
that
all the
is-
interiors are beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's a very, I mean, that kind of hazy look is Kubrick
Yeah.
It's also
in all of his color
It's
films.
also the way a lot of holiday like pictures. Are
Absolutely.
shot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. It's a little bit holiday. It's a little bit Kubrick. Kubrick should have always been making, like, he should still be alive and making Hallmark Christmas movies right now.
the way the camera floats
Those would be so much better.
with every movement, the camera movements in this movie are just technically astounding.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing I like about the camera in it is that we feel like we're there.
Yeah.
It's very personal.
Yeah, but it also doesn't feel. Sometimes Kubrick's style can become like very technical, right?
Sure.
To the point where it's all you can see.
Yeah.
but not in this movie.
No,
there's
the only
a seamless
time
blend.
the only time it doesn't feel like we really are where we're supposed to be is at the sex cult.
Yeah.
But that's
God, that's a beautiful interior.
it is.
It's so good.
That's the only time where we feel like we shouldn't be here.
Well, sure.
That's interesting. I didn't really
A lot
think
of that's
about
the
that.
music too,
Sure.
because the music and the camera,
The one note
movements
at a time.
everywhere in this movie tell you kind of what you're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
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 You were gonna say?
I was just going to say, like, thinking about Kubrick's shooting style, like, The Shining is very hard edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it is very technical, but it's also very, like, it feels sharp.
Well, it's
almost,
cold.
and cold.
Yeah.
I mean, not even just the coldness, right?
Right. No, but it's
Yeah.
but it lends itself to that.
Yeah.
To its environment.
It's
yeah.
interesting.
But then when you get outside during the snow scenes, you have that haze. You have that same haze that this movie has in the interiors. So yeah, it's kind of that is one movie that no, I take that back.
Yeah, let's just come back to that.
Well, no, I'll take that back. Never mind.
Eyes wide shut.
I thought about that again after I was about to say what I was about to say, and it didn't make sense. So,
But yes, while I was driving over here, just to put a final point on it, if you allow me, on the set. I mean, when you shoot for fucking 400 days on a movie like this, you can't shoot in Greenwich Village, right?
sure.
But I wished it did. I wish this movie had a little bit more of like that cinema verite flavor to it, and that they used more of the actual location, because I think it would be better off. But they just didn't have that luxury, because you're dealing with Stanley Kubrick, who's gonna shoot one scene for 8 days.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that, yeah.
I just feel like his perfectionism, to a point, I think was to this film's detriment.
Okay.
And I'll deconstruct that a little bit more as we keep going.
Okay. So
It's not my favorite Stanley Kubrick movie. It's bottom tier.
Well, I mean,
Thematically and in a lot of technical things that I've already talked about, I love a lot, but it's not the complete package.
no. Well, I mean, something has to be a bottom tier type stuff, right?
Sure.
I mean, like, it's like they're not all 2001 or Strange Love or,
Yeah. Yeah.
or as captivating as like Clockwork Orange. As technically great Barry Lyndon is, that's not a movie I watch very often. In fact, I haven't watched it in 25 years.
But that doesn't really take away from how great it is.
No.
That's a different
No,
kind of
but
conversation.
at the
Barry
same-
Lyndon's a goddamn masterpiece.
Yeah, it's
But
just not.
it's not-
It's just not watchable.
It's
over
not an
and over
exciting movie. Right.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
most
that doesn't
definitely.
take away from its greatness.
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
no.
I mean, right. It's like Shining, you can watch every year. You maybe watch multiple times a year. This is not one of those movies that you can watch like The Shining that happen. You have to get really invested in this movie.
There's a reason I haven't watched it in so long, right?
Yeah, there's not enough here that's interesting beyond.
The central theme that we're circling the drain on here. But
Let's
yeah.
get to it. Let's
Okay.
get to it.
So what ends up happening is that after Bill and Nick talk about the fact that Nick's in town, he's playing someplace in the village, and some guy comes up to him and like acts like a real asshole about like him talking to Bill.
Well, you know
Which
why.
we find out later why. But he's like, "We need you, Nick. Come over." And he's like, "I got to go take care of a thing. Come by and see me at the jazz
Club
basement
X,
or whatever it's
like
called."
the Sonata Club or
The
something.
Sonata
like that.
Club. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Something Sonata something. Yeah.
There used to be a lot of little jazz clubs like that in Greenwich.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not so many anymore.
But so then he goes. So he, that's where the next time we see Alice, a kind of older guy,
a swarmy, suave George Hamilton kind of dude.
Yeah.
yes,
Picks up her drink.
He's Hungarian.
Yeah, he's Hungarian. Picks up her drink and she's like, "I think that's my drink." He's like, "I know it's
Oh,
yours."
I'm absolutely positive.
Yes.
it is.
And then he
Yeah.
drinks
Oh,
it.
And he
God.
drinks it like, whoa, that's swarmy, man.
yeah,
That's a bold move.
right. And so she decides to dance with him.
She kind of leans into his flirtatiousness.
A little bit, but really she's a very flirtatious person.
Yeah.
And we're getting close to my take on the following scene, or in the upcoming scene here. But she's very flirtatious with this guy, and you start to wonder. It's like, is she gonna cheat on Tom Cruise with this guy? It's like, that's weird. It's like, we don't know much about her, but she's being very flirtatious. She's very uneasy in her soberness. Now, she is reinforcing the fact that she's married.
Well, she's drunk as fuck at this
Yeah,
point.
She
I mean,
is.
she's just drunk, and honestly, I don't think
And the
she's
guy is
really leaning into his flirtatiousness so much. I really don't.
She's being kind of coy with
She's
him.
being
which
very coy.
I think that is flirtatious
She's being
in this
coy.
scene.
Yes.
But-
That's the way it reads to me anyway.
Me too.
But she's a little drunk, and I never get the sense that she has any intention.
I don't either.
but I
Flirting
mean,
and doing that.
Right.
I mean,
But
this
if
is where
this
the
is
question of this movie is like starting.
Sure.
Right.
well, but the idea is, like,
Yes.
if you see this movie for the first time, you don't really know. It's like, you don't know enough about her.
I'm more worried
You
that
don't-
he's going to take advantage of her at this point.
There is that possibility too. You just don't know enough
Yeah.
about her. You don't know enough
'Cause
about.
he is skeevy.
You don't know enough about him. You don't know enough about the marriage between Bill and
Well,
Alice
you learn
either.
pretty quickly because Dr. Bill is definitely flirting with two
Oh
models.
yes,
1,000%.
there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He
definitely
is-
flirting. So those two things happening at the same time give you that kind of picture of a marriage that maybe they don't even know it, but it's unstable.
Like at
Sure.
first, he's got like the tiniest wall up, but then by the time where he's like walking with them arm
he
in
would have let
arm,
them take him anywhere.
Yeah.
He would have gone to the statue room.
well, yeah, he would have.
She would-
He was going to where the rainbow ends. Yeah.
yeah. I forgot that's exactly what was said. I missed
Well,
your joke earlier because of that.
I
I've been
would.
thinking about it ever since.
He's like, will this come back up?
When does the rainbow end?
Well, I would also say that he is much more boyish and much like.
Oh well, he knows that's his charm.
Sure.
He's leaning into his strengths.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, it is right. There's enough there for you to question exactly what's going on between these two.
Like he definitely puts up some really paper thin walls a couple times, but it seems to me even when he's like questioning where they're going, he's willing to go.
Yeah.
Sure.
He wants to walk faster once he knows where they're going. He wants to lead the way, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. That's the sense I got. Yeah.
Now, so they both see each other doing the thing with the other people, but before they reunite, Dr. Bill gets called into the nicest bathroom I've ever seen,
Well,
where there's
you've got fuck you money,
sure,
You put a
And
toilet in every room.
you could
and
have
got-
naked prostitutes in there too.
and it's that is an important juxtaposition as well. It's like Tom Cruise is well off. He ain't this well off.
No.
Like, look at the difference in bathrooms, right? No, seriously, that's not a
Sure.
mistake.
No.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a couch in this fucking bathroom.
right. This
Where
is
Nicole Kidman had to squeeze into the pisser.
right.
Yep.
And Sidney Pollack is half undressed, and there's a naked redhead with great tits. That he says that,
Yeah.
and it's true.
I mean, it's true.
It's
that's objectively true. Yes.
But this is Mandy. Now, Mandy is an important character later, but
She's important now.
she's important now
Yeah.
because we find out there is more to, like, this helps connect some dots to the other guy downstairs who seems to know of a place that he can take Nicole Kidman
Right.
to fuck in Ziegler's home.
Yeah.
And
The statue room.
the statue room where he's got all of his art collectibles or whatever. And there are a couple of looks that she gives him when he's talking about that's kind of funny. Where it's like, okay, are you for real? Is this really what you're going
Well,
with?
he's also playing on her interests.
Sure.
Because she mentions that she used to work for an art gallery in Soho. It went broke. She's looking for a job. He's like, well, I know some people in the art game. I could help you out, you know? It's like he's kind of Weinsteining her a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, let's go to the sculpture. Do you like, is it the Renaissance period? Is that what he talks about?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, do you like the Renaissance period? And I honestly think she's like legitimately probably wants to see the sculpture room,
Probably.
but probably not really with this guy.
She knows better. She knows
Right.
better.
Yeah, she knows better.
So, but yeah, so it's like, so you begin to realize it's like, there's some shenanigans going on, because we also met in just one scene, Ziegler's wife. So it's like he's married
Yeah.
and he's got naked redhead that's in her 20s
Yeah.
with apparently great tits.
Which we find out that's fine with her later anyway, even though Ziegler says don't tell anyone.
Sure.
The wife knows.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's probably got stuff going on too.
They probably
She's
go to
in
the party
room later.
together. Yeah.
I mean, I'm relatively certain who they are
Yeah.
at the party.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they so you know, he's able to kind of revive Mandy, and it's like she's got to stay here for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Sidney Pollack, and he's like, couple hours? It's like, yeah. She just had like a weird reaction to a speedball. Or what else?
It's
did
a
he call it?
speedball, cocaine,
No, he
cocaine
called-
and
He called it
heroin.
a speedball or like a something ball.
Yeah.
It's like whatever they're calling it these days. Cocaine and heroin.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you know, but he will look at her. He's not going to say anything. He's very discreet about everything. He doesn't tell Alice about it.
Well, yeah.
told not
he
to.
doesn't.
Well, no, he does, but he kind of plays along, you know. And so
I mean, and that again, like that omission of truth, right?
He doesn't lie to her, but he doesn't give her the whole story.
Right. Well, he just doesn't say anything at all, and it makes her think
Oh, yeah, until
the
later.
worst.
Sorry. Yeah,
Makes her
later
think- it makes her think something else.
Yes.
which is entirely plausible.
right, because
Yeah.
so okay, so now the next important scene happens the next day. You know, they're kind of back to their regular life.
There is something important here that I do want to bring up because Dr. Bill keeps saying, look at me, Mandy. Look at me, Mandy. So, and she's she's totally fucked up, but she's looking at him enough that
She knows
who he is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which is important.
It's the eyes.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is very important
Yep,
later.
it is
So-
extremely important.
So then, when they get back to their normal lives the next day, she's like, "Well, you should, you know, thank the Zieglers for inviting us to the party." He's like, "It's already taken care
Well,
of."
there's like a montage of like their daily routine.
Right.
Yeah.
She's got a very kind of boring kind of
Stay at home mom.
stay at home
thing.
mom life. You know,
Yep.
she's between jobs.
Yep.
And that's when he's looking over naked girl, kid, old
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, there's a moment when he's examining like an extremely beautiful topless woman, you know, like doing the stethoscope thing on her heart, and the nurse is present, and it feels a little bit exploitative, but then it pays off.
Later, you mean?
Yeah.
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 In the conversation.
Because like in the moment, it's like, oh my god, is this just another reason to get some nice tits in the movie? But it actually does serve a purpose.
Well, because it
Shocked
is.
how much nudity there is in this movie for like a Kubrick film.
Oh, there's a ton. Absolutely.
It's
I mean,
like he
gotta
fit
be
all the
most
nudity he
ever.
never used in other movies into this movie.
He didn't really have a lot of nudity in his movies, other than
That's what I'm saying. I was
Clockwork
shocked
Orange.
by
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The yeah, because I mean, it does serve the purpose that this is his job. Sometimes the girl takes off her top,
Right.
and there is a nurse there, and it is relatively clinical.
Well, everything that he describes to her in that conversation, you saw to be true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so like they decide to smoke some pot and call it a night,
Yeah.
and then comes
The questions.
the questions. You know, it's because she asks him, you know, who were those girls? And he's like, yeah, they were just a couple of models. One he actually apparently did see on the street once. And
He's that kind of hero. He gave her a hanky.
He gave her a hanky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because something was in her eye.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, yeah, we were just talking. Which is somewhat true. I mean, of course, we could extrapolate where things could go from there. But for the most part, all we saw was they were talking. We know that he got called away. And we know why he got called away. She asked him,
Did you fuck them?
did you take them someplace and fuck them?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. What about that guy that you were dancing with?
A lot of this is really hard to get into this scene without a familiarity of seeing the nuance in their discussion.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that. Because there's an exasperation on Tom Cruise's part that kind of grows and grows and grows.
Yes.
But it's like this false incredulousness because he knows in his mind what his intentions were. And he's kind of falling back on the fact that he just kind of just got lucky that he didn't fuck them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a duality to what he's retorting with. It's
Yes, because it's interesting because this happens a lot in this movie. Choice, right?
right.
He didn't have the choice to say no to these girls. He could have. We
Right.
assume he would not have.
Right.
But she did say no.
Right. So this is, yeah.
So yeah, they're both thinking about probably that in this
Well,
moment.
that's the whole thing with Tom Cruise in this movie, right? Is there are a few moments where yes, he does make a choice.
Well, he makes an attempt too. But this was not an attempt.
But
the first time.
But almost every time he wants to cheat, he is thwarted by some other force of nature, right?
Which is a BS excuse, kind of.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lack of opportunity. It's not any sort of I'm trying to find the word morality, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a point. We'll get to a point later, but I think he does make a clear choice at one point.
He does. He does.
Yeah,
He does.
So yeah, well, yeah, because what ends up happening in this scene is she begins to question him about what he does as a doctor, knowing that he's going to see things that an average everyday husband will not, which are a lot of body parts, a lot of nudity.
Well, he generalizes women first, which really kind of sets her off.
Exactly.
So he
Very
does
important
play,
that he generalizes women.
that's an important part to something I picked up in this movie, which is, so yeah, he talks about how like he kind of excuses the idea, the old trope of, men can pretty much do whatever they want.
This is what men
fuck
do.
whatever they want. Yeah.
And she's
This
like,
is how
well, why
men
are
think.
you an exception?
Yeah. And he's like,
because
there's-
we're married and I love you. And she's like, that's the only
right.
thing that's preventing you. So you would do it
Right.
if you weren't. Like, that's important.
And then he generalizes women into the regard that, well, women aren't inclined to cheat naturally
Right.
Right.
because they're more protective of the family unit and security, and that really pisses off because it's patronizing. And and it's the best line in the movie, honestly, and it's her best line in the movie when she says, "If you men only knew."
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Well, then she ends
She
up.
didn't have to say another word.
She does.
She didn't have to say that.
But she's looking to cut with a knife now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she tells this story about a trip that they went on the last year, just
Last
1
year,
year
the
ago.
Hamptons or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Some rich people place.
Right.
It was Cape Cod, but yeah.
Yeah, it was Cape Cod.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they say, so she's like, do you remember the guy, the naval officers?
Naval officer. Yeah.
And he's like, no, he had no reason to spot them. And she even remembers to the point, it's like somebody came up and he was called away from the table. Like she knew details about this guy.
Because she was locked in.
Right.
It's almost unfathomable to her that he had no notice of him because she she was like so in tune
Right.
to everything that this guy was about from the night before, the morning before.
Right. So, and she's like, you know, she talked about how like she had seen the guy earlier in the day, and he looked at her, and, you know, and she was kind of like frozen by the fact that she thought, here's this really good looking guy looking at me, and I'm noticing, you know, everybody's noticing how good everybody looks. And she basically says, it's like, yeah, if he'd asked me to, I would have left everything, child and all, behind.
I would have sacrificed everything.
To which this completely and totally kind of steamrolls Dr. Bill.
Oh, it shatters his ego.
Right. But now here's the thing. You know, I thought about this 20 plus years ago. I probably would have looked at that and thought, oh, that fucking whore. Why would she do that? Why would she say it? But now at my age, not only is it something that is in the moment makes sense that she's kind of cutting with the knife, but also this inverts everything that we typically think of in a movie, where it's like oftentimes in a movie or in a story or what we hear about from other people, oftentimes we think of, oh, it would be Tom Cruise on a whim leaving the family.
Right.
I'm going out for cigarettes and never coming back or whatever, you know. But in this case, it's the wife, and we don't typically hear about that, which kind of plays kind of against his generalization of the sexes.
That's the whole reason of her telling the story.
Right.
Is to tell him he's wrong.
She wants him to understand that she's
a complex creature.
She's not just a two-dimensional female that he has in his mind. She is to be appreciated.
Yes.
She is to be coveted.
Yeah.
You should be jealous of other men.
Because she questions that, like, what, you've never been jealous of me.
Right.
He's like, because I know you won't do anything. And
she wants to be desired.
Yeah.
Right.
And by telling him this, she wants to get a rise out of him. She wants him to fight for her. But in the short term, it has kind of a devastating effect on him.
Which we don't really know. Again, this is a moment where he's saved by the bell. I'm putting that in air quotes. I don't know another way to say it. The phone rings.
Yeah.
So before he can have a real reaction to this thing, he's kind of just staring at her. The phone rings, and one of his patients has passed.
And
Go ahead.
Before that, I think it's really important to put a final, to talk about the end of her story, because she says that when she realized that the naval officer had gone, she was overcome with relief because she didn't have to choose.
She was like, I wasn't sure if I was sad that he's gone or if I was relieved, basically.
And then she said that, and then the funniest thing of it all, the craziest thing of all, was that she had never been more endeared to him, her husband, than at that time. But that she found that in that moment, she found the love she had for him both tender and sad.
Yep.
And
almost like she felt sorry for him.
That is exceptional writing.
Sorry for herself.
Well, sure.
And yes, she not only now has she kind of cuckolded her husband, but she's also like pitied him.
Yeah.
And he's not going to take this well.
No.
But it's the thing. I mean, it's like relationships are hard, man. And they go through ebbs and flows, and they're not like this one constant thing ever. They're just not. And that's what I really took away from this viewing, was that understanding, that complexity of what a marriage is. It is just not one thing.
Right.
Well,
it's fucking work, and it's a lot of different desires and things that people struggle with, right? Relationships are work.
Well, one of the very first things
that she wants him to know,
right,
that it's hard for her too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the very first things that was ever said in the in my interpersonal communication class in college was, it's a surprise that there can be such a thing as interpersonal communication because people are different. People are weird. People are not just, they're not what you see is what you get. It's there's a lot going on behind the eyes when you're having communications with people, when you're talking to people. And obviously that makes all relationships multifaceted and complicated, and sometimes you just don't want to be around the person all the time, or another person all the time. It doesn't have to be that person, it could just be any person. And there's always the people who there are a lot of situations where the early part of a relationship, you always want to be around the person, but then that changes and then it evolves. And then you begin to realize, like, is this it?
You have separate lives.
Right, exactly.
You have separate interests. You have a lot in common, and that's what keeps things together, and a desire for one another keeps things together. But it's not all about the other person all the time.
Right,
it's
because what pleases you doesn't always please the other person. Like, right. There's a lot of nuance there that...
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful scene.
She's a little mean.
I wish
she is a little bit, and it gets worse.
Oh, well, yeah. I wish her performance was better in it. Honestly,
well, the fake laughing didn't help.
I don't love her performance in it up until the point where she tells a story about the naval officer.
That's good.
Absolutely, fucking kills it. Up until that, I don't like her. I don't like her in the scene with the Hungarian either. She does not play drunk and stoned well, and I think that's the problem. I think she's trying to be hazy and kind of,
she's just talking slow and slurred.
Yeah,
that's what I was
and
saying.
It doesn't work.
It's just too slow.
It doesn't work. I don't believe it. I feel like she's acting.
Yeah.
That's one of my acting notes as we'll move forward.
Oh, okay. Well, well, I'll pass those along to Miss Kidman.
I'm putting it in the margins here.
Okay, yeah. I'll make sure that Stanley also understood that you had some notes.
I also don't think Cruise is very good in it either. Some of his incredulity is a little over the top. Incredulity is a little over the top. And honestly, too, I think we should talk about the fact that this is a married couple playing a married couple.
Yeah.
And that, I think, worked in 1999. I don't think it works as well now. There's a dated aspect to it. I think that the fact that their marriage did fail is an interesting dynamic now to it. But
this wasn't semi-autobiographical by Tom Cruise.
But there's things that don't feel honest in their performances, because I think they're also hiding things from one another, which is a weird thing to say, but
I can't get that deep. I don't know for sure, but I don't think either of them are very good in this movie for most of it.
Yeah. I know it's a sad truth, right?
Yeah. They kind of in a lot of ways ruin
I think
the movie. And I like both of them.
There are scenes that work really well. And there are scenes with them that work really well, but it's not a sustained.
Well, when he's playing the naval officer, he's not naval, but he kind of has that own Top Gun kind of aspect to half of this character, right? When he's just walking around and he's a little bit stoic. That's the Tom Cruise I like.
It's Maverick. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm explaining it wrong, but I think you get my picture.
I do. I get you.
Do you get me? I'm pointing at Jeff. Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Thanks for the assisted description there.
You're welcome. But anyway, he gets the phone call.
And this begins what I like to call
the worst scene in the movie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but what I think the movie really is, which is it's the Odyssey, except for with sexcapades and a lot of sexual fantasy.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's kind of like a reverse Odyssey, right? He's willfully taking
home.
himself away from his wife.
Maybe it's the Iliad. I don't know. It's one of those two. But
Odyssey, I think, is apt. It's just inverted.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he now goes and his his patient's dead, and his daughter, the patient's daughter, is kind of all over the place. Her dad just died.
Yeah.
She should be pretty happy because that guy looked loaded.
Right? You don't have to marry the math professor. You're
loaded
You're
now.
loaded. Marry whoever you want.
Yeah, but she wants
Dr. Bill.
She kind of wants Dr. Bill. I think she's
overcome by emotion.
And she's infatuated with Tom Cruise.
She's profuse about it, though, and it's really that scene is really bad, I think.
I don't think it's necessary. The only reason it's there is it provides another opportunity
for him to say no.
But it's an easy no, right?
Right.
But what's more telling is when he calls later, because he's almost like he doesn't really want to be with her, but he wants to be with anyone.
Right. At this point, he's desperate to get back at Nicole Kidman.
It's kind of a progression to his thing, though, but I think that's important.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that happen in between those two things. Her story, the daughter.
Yeah. But I mean, even for Tom Cruise, he like progressively gets there. He's not there like as soon as he leaves the house. He's still I don't even know the word to say.
He entertains the kiss too.
Yes.
It's not like he just recoils.
I think he's more interested in the unknown than the known. Like the fact that he knew this woman, if she was a random stranger, he'd have walked into her house, which he does like moments.
I think he's
later.
I think he's also legitimately a pretty good doctor. So it's an ethical concern.
Yeah, this would kind of ruin his practice, probably.
Probably, yeah. So that basically ends with
math professor coming home.
Yeah, and the math professor.
That was supposed to be the daughter was supposed to be Jennifer Jason Leigh, by the way.
That would have been much better.
Yeah.
Thomas Gibson plays him.
Fucking crazy. She probably can't shoot for 6 months for one scene. So she had obligations on Cronenberg's existence.
Oh, interesting.
She had to drop out.
So that basically just kind of he leaves once the fiance comes over and it's like, hey, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. I'm gonna take off. He's kind of walking and he's thinking, and the one thing I don't like about this movie are those insert shots and the voiceover kind of reminding us of what was said. I feel like that wouldn't have been done in earlier Kubrick.
We didn't need it. It was never needed.
It wasn't never needed. Or him like not fantasizing, but him like imagining
seeing his wife with
the sailor. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Right. Either. Those things were and he gets a little Tom Cruise crazy. He punches his hand.
Oh yeah, he does the like. Yeah. Do you hear that on there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's in there.
That was Jason punching me in the face.
Yeah. It's guys. Can we calm down a little bit?
We're a little angry.
A little angry here.
He does that when it's the green screen Greenwich Village behind him too.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice.
So it's kind of like a goofy moment. Yeah.
Well, right after that, he gets accosted by some young punks.
Oh yeah, that's a weird moment.
I mean, that's just 1999, man. That's what
he's being demasculated by it.
Yes,
demasculated.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, it's the universe piling on right there.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate scene that like now it's just like kind of cringy.
It's pretty eye roll. I mean, even in 1999 in Greenwich Village, that's pretty eye roll.
Yeah, who are these punks? Like, why would they be there?
It's kind of like almost a complete lack of cultural understanding of what Greenwich Village was in the late 90s.
Yeah,
it probably wouldn't have happened.
No.
Yeah.
But they basically just call them, negative derogatory terms.
Yeah. They think they think he's gay basically.
Yeah.
And
for no good reason other than he's dressed well.
He's dressed well and he's short. And he's pretty because he's Tom Cruise.
I know. I get this a lot.
Are we still allowed to use the term metrosexual?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that's 100%
for sure.
what he looked like.
But also that's like male, like jealous projection too.
Yeah.
I mean, because those guys were not Tom Cruise.
Those guys came from the soccer pitch and they were drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
They look like hooligans. So then, so from here, he decides to stop in and see Nick. He's in the neighborhood of the Sonata.
Not yet. This is when he meets the other girl.
That's right, because right down the street is Vanessa Shaw.
Yeah.
Who plays Domino.
Yeah.
And then I got Then I got Van Morrison stuck in my head.
Oh, Domino.
Hey, we gotta pay. We gotta pay if we do.
Oh, yeah. Domino, motherfucker.
There you go.
Yeah, he runs into her and she's like,
You want some action?
she basically escorts him like the two girls were at the beginning of the movie.
Right
like,
to her door.
Yeah, right.
Because he's like, he kind of giggles and he's like, "You live right there.
You live right
You
here.
live right here."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
He goes in,
well, how
says,
do you think Vanessa Shaw got this role? That's one thought I have. Was like, did Stanley Kubrick see Ladybugs and think, I want her as my hooker for this movie?
Or your
doubt it.
favorite movie, Hocus Pocus.
Well, I like Ladybugs. And he's like, well, can I get Jonathan Brandis? And they're like, we're not sure in history if he's dead yet or not.
she
But
probably,
we can get the girl.
Let's check the timeline. We could get the girl.
I bet you she auditioned. That's what I'm going to go with.
She is radiant in this. Very beautiful, Vanessa Shaw.
Yeah.
Also, that red door. This is classic Stanley Kubrick. He had somebody canvassing all the neighborhoods of England and New York and everywhere, looking for the perfect red door,
Why didn't you just paint one?
so that he could. Because that's not the way it works.
I know, that's
he
weird,
wanted
though.
he wanted to find the perfect red door, and then I'm pretty sure they just recreated it at Pinewood.
Oh, my God.
They're-
Stanley
in-
Kubrick can paint my red door.
In Stanley Kubrick's boxes, not unlike Jeff Arbuckle's boxes that we're surrounded by at his apartment right now.
Well, these are comic books.
I know, but there was like thousands of Polaroids of location
Of red
shoots,
doors?
and specifically of doors. Yeah,
Could you
Yeah.
imagine, like, just looking out your window and just seeing some weirdo, like, taking pictures of your door and it's like, can I help you?
Well, Stanley Kubrick wants to see your door.
Okay, yeah, sure.
buddy, I'm sure.
Okay.
They just showed their medical card. And said,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
allowed
like,
to take
oh.
pictures of your door.
Sorry, Dr. Bill.
I'm Dr. Photog.
So, so he gets taken up there and they're going to, they discuss price and everything. And she's like, it's, she's not cheap.
$150, but let her lead the way.
And
I don't know if that's cheap or not. I don't know how you know that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, in 1999,
$150 is pretty good.
I mean, I don't know what the going rate is or
That's
was,
what I'm saying. I don't know.
But
Well, let's see here.
that's a pretty good amount of money, probably.
For a doctor, it's nothing. He'll pay
Let me pull out
$100
the
over
old-
the
Well,
rate of
shit,
it.
he's
and
like
anything.
pulling fucking hundreds out for the cab and everything later.
Yeah.
It's like he's got, I don't
He's-
know, probably,
he's got
probably got
Rip
like
money and half
$1,000
money.
in his wallet, I would
Yeah.
guess.
He's got rip in half money. Yeah. That's exactly what he's got.
He does.
Yeah.
Which is like totally like a federal crime.
Yeah.
you can just take that right back. It's fine. Anyway, and so he gets a phone call from Mrs. Dr. Bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's I laughed when she said that because that's funny. It's,
Is that Mrs. Dr. Bill?
Is that
Mrs.
Mrs. Dr. Bill?
Yeah.
Well, this ends up like saving Tom Cruise from being in a Larry Clark movie. So
Again, Saved by the Bell, right? Like if she hadn't have called and
yeah, if
reminded
Screech
him,
wasn't there just to fuck things up.
yeah.
Old
But
Zach Morris would have been in trouble.
she reminded him in that moment of his whatever.
Yeah, because this is a very long night.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
It's
it
not
was-
even 2:00 yet by the time he gets to the lounge,
right.
which
Right.
is weird.
right because he doesn't. Is it Vanessa Shaw who asks is what time it is, or was it the patient's daughter? And he said something like it's 1:45 or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something like that. Anyway, so it's late, and she wants to know, hey, are you coming home? Never mind what we talked about earlier. Are you coming home or not? And he's like, it's gonna be a while.
We're still waiting on family
So
and
waiting on
stuff.
family.
Yeah.
And that's when he decides, like, hey,
I'm gonna give you the money anyway, but I'm out.
Yeah. And he goes to the jazz.
He goes to the Sonata. Yeah, and then
What's going on there? I mean,
well, the band was shitty that night.
no. What's going on with Cruise and his decision there, right? Because I think there's something to discuss, or at least deconstruct.
Well,
It just kind of take the wind out of his sails.
yeah, and
Kind of,
it's-
kind of like a killed his boner.
It made
Well-
him. It made him question it again. I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Like he had gotten past the point of considering whether it was right or wrong, And the fact that he talked to her again brought that question back to mind.
That is the kind of hero that he is.
Yes.
Yeah, well, she
No more hanky-panky.
he put the hanky over his lap.
Yeah.
Okay, I just think it's kind of a pivotal moment, or maybe not pivotal, but it's
It's really important.
It's important to understanding his character.
It's really important to me for what the ultimate question of this movie is, that he's pretty much there. He going in to the house.
He gets to every situation, but he turns back at some point.
He wants to be the exception.
But he walks through the door here. He's already kind of committed the crime. It doesn't matter what decision he makes at this point.
Agreed.
He's already past the threshold of what.
Now we're talking about
infidelity is.
This is some sort of Minority Report stuff, and that's a movie for another time.
I think that all that stuff is critical to what this movie is trying to say or ask.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like
what is too far? What is truly what is infidelity? Is it
or infidelia?
Infidelio? Yeah.
I mean, that means faithful, by the way.
Right.
Fidelia.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
But he gets in with that fidelia.
Yeah.
But yes, he is skirting the line of right and wrong here, and what it really truly means to be unfaithful. Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yeah. And because, I mean, there are a lot of people who would say, right there, he's guilty, just as she was guilty. They're almost like a toxic relationship at this point. There are other people who would say, well, he didn't go all the way. Neither one of them went all the way, so there's no crime done. It's a complex. Again, we're talking about complexity of
this is what the whole
individuals.
Movie. This is what the whole movie is about,
and it's about
that question,
and it's also about like what that means for your partner. It's not about what that means. There's not like a universal red, light, right?
Right.
It's all in flux,
and there's comparison in it too, because both of them are in.
She feels like she cheated.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely, 100% she does, even though she didn't.
Yes.
And that's what now he's going through.
And
understanding that.
Yes, and I don't even think he feels like he's cheated, even though he's made the choice to do it. Yes.
Well, it's
but
not
he's
until
trying
he
real
feels like
hard to
it's
be
outed.
the exception.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's not until he thinks he's outed
right
that he makes that he makes the connection.
Yep. Absolutely.
So so at this point, Nick is like, hey, I'm glad, let's have a beer, and they're talking, and Nick gets a phone call, and he writes down the word Fidelio. And Tom Cruise is like, hey, come on, buddy. What's with this?
He already knew that he was playing secret shows, and
he's like, is that the password?
Is that the
what's
place?
going
He's
on?
like, no, it's the password.
It's like, I already have the password. Just give me the address.
Tell me the place. And
he's like, you're not going to get a costume at this hour. You can't.
He's like, oh, well, I've got somebody I can flash my credentials around with.
Yeah. There's always, you could get anything you want at any time in New York if you have enough money.
If you have the right identification.
Yeah, the right
if you're a New York doctor, you are in like Flint. So he goes, and he's like, all right, fine. Just give me the address. So he gets the address from Nick. And so now he goes to Under the Rainbow.
Yeah. Boy, there's some weird shit going on here.
Oh, now this is the one I think he does consciously not want to partake in.
I totally agree.
He's like, no, I'm not in the movie Lolita.
Right.
I'm in Eyes Wide Shut.
100% is what drew the line.
He's not in the movie Lily Lolita Sobieski.
God, that made my brain skip.
So yeah, he goes.
Loli's.
I'll be back when you guys are done.
We just say that over and over while he's gone. I don't know why that like shorts out my brain. Like I can't figure it out. So anyway, he meets Rada. What's his face?
Yeah, like Russian gangster and everything. He was in Mission Impossible 2 also.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I can't say his name.
Yeah, Rada something.
I'm not even try.
Rada Sorbedija. Anyway, he was not the guy who was a patient of Dr. Bill, who he's trying to call in basically a favor. Let me into Under the Rainbow or Rainbow Costumes Limited or whatever. And help me out. I'll give you $100 over rental fee. And the Russian guy comes out and he's like, oh, $100? Oh, no. He's like, $200. He's like, oh, $200? Okay, come on in. And he comes in, he's like, what do you need? And he's like, I want a tux, I want a cloak, and I want a mask.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, tux, cloak, mask. What color? He's like, I don't know, black. Black, sure. So you sure you don't want something more
black.
Colorful, Dr. Man? He's like, oh, I'm going bald. And it's like, dude, that's just
like,
alopecia.
what kind of doctor are you? Medicine doctor?
Yeah, medicine doctor? Yeah, medicine doctor. Well, I'm going bald. And it's like, dude, that's alopecia. kind of normal. A lot of people have it. And he's like, nah, it's not my field. Go see somebody else.
Specialist, yeah.
Yeah, go see an ichthyologist.
Whatever it is, yeah. Ichthyologist?
That's a fish doctor.
Go see a fish doctor.
Go see Anyways.
Let's get off my back.
So, yeah, just give me the fucking thing I have so I can go to the sex cult, please. Yeah. And then he hears some ruffling going on in this other room.
This kills me because, like, what is this? What is this?
And his teenage daughter is in her. She never wears clothes in this movie. It's just bra and underwear.
No.
And there's two Japanese men in drag.
Yeah, drag and underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, or at the very least,
like
makeup and panties.
We were invited by the lady.
He's like, oh, you whore. And he locks them in. It's like, I'll be calling the police. And the guys are like, my boner's dead. And she's kind of hiding behind Tom Cruise. And she keeps like kind of whispering. And he's like, mm-mm.
I know. She whispers something in his ear and then she like slinks away.
And he does not look well.
He doesn't, he's kind of like...
He doesn't like what's going on here.
He's kind of having like a Martin Scorsese's After Hours like movie moment at this point. He's like, what in the world? Fucking, he's having his New York night for sure. But it's all self-inflicted.
This isn't even the half of what
No, it isn't even the half of it.
But so he gets his costume. And then he proceeds to do the dumbest fucking shit. He hires a cab.
It's pretty stupid.
To go out to a mansion, which I assume is on Long Island.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell knows?
Right? I mean, it's $75 away from the village.
And 99, yeah. So, it's got to be...
And
it's...
You guys are doing lots of money calculations in this.
Well, I do know...
That's a hell of a cab ride.
Where is I-495? Because that's where he went.
It's probably...
Outside of I-495.
He went away.
It's probably north.
Away.
Okay.
To the suburbs.
Okay.
The rich suburbs.
So he's outside of I-495, wherever. So, yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Sure shit ain't on in Manhattan anymore.
Well, he's not even in the United States because one of the signs said 0.2 of a mile or something to go. It's like there's no signs that say 0.2 of a mile. It's anyway. No, like 2/10.
Focus, Jeff.
Anyway,
Focus.
Okay. Then comes the part where every 22-year-old wants to go see this movie once he sees the trailers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sex cult.
Which, if you remember, the trailer for this movie was fucking great.
It's a minute long.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the bedroom scene.
Yep.
And the sex cult.
Yep. And the music.
And babes everywhere.
It's a hell of a fucking trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably why this movie made money.
Yeah.
It's that trailer.
Right.
And maybe a couple names that are...
For sure.
And I do remember promise of all of Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
She wears very little in this movie.
Often. Sometimes nothing at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You get lots of bare ass Kidman.
Uh-huh.
You get a lot of Kidman.
Mm-hmm. Even when she's when she's wearing clothes, she really ain't wearing clothes.
Not really. Yeah. So anyway, he shows up here and he's like, he goes up to the little.
He tells the cab to like wait.
Yeah, I'll give you $100.
It splits the 100 as like keep the meter running. I'll pay this on top of the meter.
And he's like, well, how long are you gonna be gone? I don't know, 2 hours or 10 minutes.
Right.
I mean, it could be just
a bunch of $100 either way.
It could just be a bunch of old balls in there, and I bet it's a bunch of old balls in there.
He has no idea what it is. He just knows that there's women.
There's crazy shit.
He knows that Nick Nightingale has to wear
A mask.
A blindfold
Right.
while he's in there.
Yeah,
And-
blindfold.
And he's like, and one time it wasn't tight enough, and there's lots of women. So he kind of knows what's.
I'm sorry, but you
expect a
could
little bit.
smell what the fuck is going on in there. 23 years later, in my living room, you could smell what the fuck was going on.
Were
in
you
that
watching
party.
without your pants on?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And old balls started happening. Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, there's so many old
Yeah.
balls in here.
There's so many old balls
Yeah.
right here in my chair.
Time is a thief, Jeff.
Yeah.
Time is a thief.
It's a predator. Anyway, no, but I mean, come on, Nick. You know what's going on in there. You fucking know what's going on in there. You can't play piano that loud.
Oh, he's playing some spooky piano.
He is.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they tell him to play that?
I mean, I would think so.
It's like play something spooky,
Yeah.
or is he like?
I think they give him. I mean, they
Well, they can't give him music because he can't see it.
Maybe
What do
he
you
had
call
to.
that
Maybe
music
he had to
again?
rehearse it though.
You guys say this word all the time, and I forget it. The music.
Diegetic.
Diegetic. There's lots of diegetic music in this movie.
Yes,
There
there
is.
is quite a bit.
There's also a lot of diegetic music in our next week's movie too.
Yeah, true.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
That's an interesting part about that music. Just want to. I pulled it up because I knew something about it and I couldn't quite recall it.
It's the Nightingale Sonata. Oh,
It's Jocelyn Pook. It's original music that she wrote. There's a lot of like classical music throughout, obviously.
well, it's Kubrick, so yeah,
But
sure.
but she wrote this piece called Backward Priests, which features a Romanian Orthodox divine liturgy recorded in a church played backwards.
Yeah.
Is that the guy who's going? "Oh"?
yes.
That's the piece. Yep.
Everything about this is terrifying, and I would never want to go there.
I
just gonna say
spent
that.
this entire scene listening to that music thinking, why is it backwards? Does that mean anything? And I came to the conclusion probably not.
I don't think that. I think it just sounded cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is off-putting. The
Right.
whole thing is
It's
off-putting.
totally off-putting.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
and
Kubrick rarely does anything by accident, so I thought the backwardsness might mean something. But yeah, I agree.
I think it's just meant to scare you.
Yeah.
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 And Nick's like single notes. Bing,
Yeah.
bing.
Yes. So he gets in with Fidelio. They drive him up to the son is like, we'll fetch you a car. I mean, you see the other cars that are parked here, bud. You come in a fucking taxi. Come on.
Right.
Come on. You're making
Well,
a rookie mistake
They,
here.
Sore
they
thumb.
run him up
Yeah.
to the house in a red Jeep. It's
Right.
kind of weird.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That's how they
Yeah.
wrangle.
That's what this is awesome.
That's how they wrangle people in a Wrangler.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go wrangle him up.
And they ask for the password again.
And he
gives
says it again. It's like, of course, sir, this way. And then he puts on it. By the way, I'm pretty sure he should have put everything on before anybody ever fucking saw him.
I would
Absolutely.
agree.
He
Yeah.
doesn't understand what he's
He
doing.
doesn't.
No, he
Has
is
no idea.
an abject failure in this.
Yeah.
So then he goes in, and it's this weird, like, fucking secret society. It's like,
It's a sex cult.
it is a sex cult
it's a
because we
fucking
find
sex
out
cult.
there's a bunch of topless women who just wearing G-strings and masks, and they're like being initiated in, and then they go off and find a guy, and he gets picked by a woman who says, you shouldn't be here.
You don't belong here.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Before you die.
Basically. Yeah, because sex cults take their shit seriously.
Yeah. That's why the
Yeah.
masks and stuff. Yeah.
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 I'm not allowed to tell you anything about mine. I mean,
You don't talk.
shit.
It's a bunch
You
of
don't
old
talk
balls.
about. You don't talk about sex cult.
no.
No. It's the first rule of sex cult.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to play coy again. It's the scene from earlier where he's trying to be kind of suave or kind of coy or kind of friendly, but like, no, I'm sticking around.
So this reads to me exactly like the Christmas party.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's being led again by a woman, but this time he's being told to leave instead of told to come.
Right.
Like, and the music is going backwards. So this is the kind of stuff I was kind of thinking about, trying to piece together. But yeah, it's definitely like almost an exact replay of the Christmas party, just in a different light.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you want to fuck two models at the Christmas party? That's your speed.
Right.
This is
this is
Sidney Pollack's fuck you money speed.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the speed you can't go.
Yeah. You don't get this invite.
Yeah.
Your level is my Christmas party.
Yeah. Because before he gets picked, I'm pretty sure the people that are on the ledge above the guy in the mask that has no mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's Ziegler and his wife.
I would
assume so.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they kind of nod at him too, like almost too many people recognize
there's a
him.
recognition there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, his face is out in the open.
None of those people saw him then. They're getting
but somebody is probably saying, hey,
I think it's his posture. Like he sticks out like a sore thumb even in the costume.
Yeah.
For a little guy in costume, Tom Cruise does stand out in this scene.
But I also don't think that they're positive other than Mandy.
Right.
I think Mandy's positive. She sees
1,000% she knows who she
sees
is.
his eyes. Right.
1,000%.
His eyes are lit also in this
Because
scene too. So
she wouldn't have done what she did
Right.
if he didn't save her life earlier.
100%.
she's doing it. She's paying him up. She's paying him back. Yeah.
Yep.
And he won't leave. So he kind of continues around. So another guy comes and takes Mandy, girl away.
Yeah.
And then
the voice, by the way, is Cate Blanchett.
Is it?
Interesting.
Yep. Huh. That actress did not have a good enough American accent. It was actually fixed in post after Kubrick died.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh. It's Cate Blanchett.
You know what's weird about this scene too, at least to me, and maybe it's just because of the way this movie like sets you up. For all the banging that's going on, it is so not sexual.
Oh,
it is
at all.
Oh no, it's all very sterile. It's all very like
it's almost like doctor's office kind of.
It's voyeurism.
Yeah,
is what it is. I mean, it's almost like a voyeur cult more than anything.
But it's not enjoyable.
Well, that's what they like.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, no, even
because I
for
think,
like an onlooker, for a voyeur.
Because I don't even think like the people who are there, like the elite that are there, are even participating. I think the people who are participating are like prostitutes.
The women, I think, definitely are.
Yeah, well, they definitely are. And some of the men didn't. Like, there were only a few.
There were a couple of dudes dancing with dudes and a couple of women dancing with women. So there were some.
It's hard to get a grasp on like what the dynamic is here.
Yeah,
there's a lot more people watching than there are participants.
I'm guessing most of the people who were naked and getting railed were paid.
It's just,
I think so too.
It's just like life. Like rich people watch everyone else get fucked.
It's a zoo. Yeah.
And this is kind of like a little sea monkey's tank where you're just watching them float around and be gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's not sexy.
No,
it isn't. I mean, like there is one part where it's like when he gets offered up a woman, kind of, and because then the person we find out later is Mandy comes and takes him away from her to say you got to leave. But in that scene, he's in a room where there's two people just fucking hard in the back. And nobody is watching them.
Right.
We are watching them because it's like, hey, what's going on back there?
Well, if that's Ziegler who sends the woman, what's the intention there? Is it to maybe placate him and get him gone, or do they have nefarious intention?
I don't know.
Is Mandy gets him out of that situation, and it
then
makes
says,
me feel
now
like he
you
was in
have to
danger,
go.
and now I'm trying to get you out of danger.
I
don't
Ziegler,
trust anything that's going on here.
For as rich as Ziegler is, he is not even the elite.
I agree.
In
no,
this
100%. Man in Red is the guy.
Yeah,
whoever he is.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was that Sandoff guy from the beginning.
No, it's
but not.
No,
I doubt it. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, I think that's
for all we know, it's fucking Hal 9000. But whatever it is, he's in charge here.
And the mystery of it is what kind of is the sinister aspect of it, right?
Yeah,
is because how deep does this go? What is the society, and
how far will they go to protect what they do?
Right.
This is the most frustrating thing for Stephanie watching this movie, that you don't find out anything about this cult. And I'm like, well, that's how it is.
Well,
we don't get to know.
We are Tom Cruise. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not them.
Yeah,
We're not privy to this.
Right.
We are treated as underlings. Yeah.
Well, what satisfaction would we have gotten if we found out what they were?
Not much.
Yeah.
She would have though.
I mean, I think the fact that we get the conversation with Ziegler and Tom Cruise is enough, right?
Oh yeah, this is him saying you're not in my league.
Right.
Get back, small fry.
Yeah.
I'm the tits around here.
And there are bigger tits than me.
Right.
So
It's
anyway,
very heavily implied.
Yes. I mean, this is the ocean, basically. It's like, you're a small fish. I'm a shark, and there's a fucking whale.
you're gonna need more than an ichthyologist to fix you.
Right. Ichthyology.
That's a perfect
Yeah.
callback.
Even though I said it wrong, but whatever.
It doesn't matter. Everybody got the joke.
He does get found out, right? Like they
Yes.
knew he came in a cab. They knew all this, so they bring him in front of Red Cloak dude, and he's like, "What's the password?" He's like, "Fidelio." He's like, "No, that's the
That was
admin's
the guy that
password.
you through the door.
What's the house password?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I must have forgot." And he's like, "All right, well, you're gonna get fucked to death." Basically.
Right. It's like, take off all your clothes. It's like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, they're gonna fuck him to death. But
Maybe.
But Mandy offers herself up instead.
Right.
She's like, I will redeem him.
I will
whatever.
take the fucking.
Yeah,
I will redeem him.
yeah,
And he's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm Kate Blanchett now. See you later. Bye. I'm not really here either.
I'm going to go make a movie with Nick Nightingale in 2022.
Can I go be Elizabeth now? So anyway, I really like Kate Blanchett.
I do too. Quite a
She's class act. She is our new Helen Mirren.
Oh, so that
in my
is
book.
Todd Fields?
I quite love Helen Mirren too. Todd Field, yes. I put the S on him in our chat, but it's Todd Field. He's Nick Nightingale.
Okay,
Yeah.
He's nominated for 2 Oscars for the
Yeah.
first 2 movies he made for writing.
In the Bedroom and Little Children.
He wrote those and got nominated for those.
And
And,
he
he's
directed
probably
them.
going to get nominated for Tar.
Yeah, and I think Kate Blanchett is probably the favorite for Best Actress this year. For Tar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So he basically, it's like, okay, I got to go.
He gets dragged out by his ear.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's thrown out. And he goes back home and he just
Locks his
hides
costume up in his office, goes
Yep.
and lays down, goes to lay down.
and he hears laughing.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the dagger gets turned a little bit. Like,
This-
why would you describe this outside of being just pissed?
He says, "Tell me," like 7 times.
You say something different, though. If this is, if
Well,
this,
she's honest. She's an honest person. That's the juxtaposition with them. He would
sometimes
hide this.
honesty is not the best policy.
He would hide this.
I think she kind of feels like they're at a precipice,
Sure.
and this story is still being told, and it's kind of out of the bag, and she's also like just been woken up from this dream. He's pressing her. He's getting home at 4 a.m. It's kind of like guards are down.
Yeah.
She feels I think she feels kind of an immense guilt. It's one of
I
those
think
dreams
she
you
does
wake
too.
up from and you're like, you just feel guilty and you got to get it off your chest kind of thing. Yeah. So she tells him, right? She's
Yeah. So she's getting, she's basically in the middle of an orgy.
Yeah.
Funny because he was at
He
an
was
orgy.
just a
Just at an
retelling of what
orgy.
he was just at,
Right.
basically.
And that they are laughing at him and she joins in on that.
She is Mandy.
Yeah.
She is what happens to Mandy, basically. In
But
her dream.
except for instead of saving him, she's mocking him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean after she saved him. This is what happens to Mandy. She gets fucked by every person that's there, basically. And that's what happens to her in the dream. She's fucking everybody. And then the sailor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at this point, he's just that much more pissed,
I don't know
He
if
driven.
I don't even know if he's angry.
Yeah.
but more driven to,
He's-
I'm going to go do something about this.
I honestly believe he's incapable of the maturity it takes to confront this and really work through it. He'd rather just use it as an excuse to
get even.
get even.
Yeah.
To hurt, not even to hurt her, but as an excuse to justify what he wanted from the start,
Yeah.
which is to have sex with another woman.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
What a pitiful dude.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So so then the next day comes and he goes and he goes to work and he decides to leave early.
He wants to go find Nick.
Right. He's going to go find Nick. And it's like, dude, what the fuck was all of that? And basically finds out that, the bar isn't open yet. He also is going to take back the costume.
Yeah, that too. Yep.
So the bar's not open yet. So he goes and goes to the cafe, asks the diner lady if she knew who Nick was by chance, which makes it sound like maybe this lady and Nick maybe went on dates or something.
100%.
Yeah, 100% from the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I don't think he would. By the way, we didn't talk about, okay, so the reason why the costume man knows that Tom Cruise is a doctor was that he flashed his New York State medical license. So when she says, I don't think Nick would like me giving out his, he flashes it again. It's like, I'm an old friend. Plus, you can trust me. I'm a doctor.
It's a medical issue is what he says.
Right. And it's like, it's a medical issue. You got some tests back. And want to talk to him about it. And he flashes his badge again. So he finds out that he's staying at the Hotel Jason, I think is what it is.
I know. I saw that. It's JASO, but I was like, that's totally Hotel Jason, right? Yeah.
And who works at Hotel Jason? One of our greatest actors of the modern age.
Oh, fucking Alan Cumming.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a weird turn from him, too. It's like really strange.
Well, it was probably the first time where he actually played openly gay.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's always...
I think so. I mean, probably so.
Alan Cumming, I believe, is pansexual, but yeah, he's definitely playing effeminate.
Well, I mean, it's the doctor thing doesn't even matter here. He's flirting with time.
He is kind of flirting.
It's his sex appeal that gets him the information he wants.
He's also doing an American accent, which is always weird.
Yeah,
but he's all right. He's doing all right.
Yeah, it's perfectly
It just
fine.
doesn't sound right.
It's just if you didn't know he was Alan Cumming, it would just be probably unnotable.
Right.
But knowing that it's Alan Cumming, I was like, wow, this is bizarre.
It's like, God, I'm used to him playing either British or Russian guys. So, yeah, he basically tells him that Nick came in with a bruise on his cheek and with a couple of guys that you don't fool around with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then he giggles about that, which is funny. So then he's like, and then the one of the men escorted him to his room, and another one waited downstairs and told me basically that they settled the bill and he is not to be contacted, and if there's anything that comes, they will collect it by somebody who is authorized.
And Nick tried to pass him a note, but
Right.
they were like, nope,
and took that.
Yeah.
And so Tom Cruise is like, well, that doesn't sound great.
Yep.
So he goes back, he goes to take the costume back now. And the same shit from last night is still playing out. But this time, the Japanese men come out satisfied.
Yeah, there's been an arrangement made.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, well, there's no mask here. It's like, oh, fuck, can I just pay for the mask? It's like, because he thinks it's probably back at the sex club.
Yeah, I think it's either at the mansion or in the cab or anywhere, really.
Right. And he's like, I'll just pay for it. And so he settles his bill. The Japanese men come out satisfied, very friendly. Lily Sobieski comes out.
Yeah, there's a very
Again,
heavily
not wearing-
implied offer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
She's all made up. It's gross.
Yeah. It's worth noting that
It's the little girl in makeup thing that's very, very unsettling.
It's very unsettling. It's unnatural. It's just gross.
Well, she's overly made up.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much worse.
It's worth noting she was 15 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so if you ever need anything, he puts his arm around his daughter and is like,
Yeah, gross. Get the fuck out of here. I never want to see you again.
Well, and like Tom Cruise like almost takes offense to it.
Yeah.
Not almost.
Well, he does, but he's like, sir, You
told me you were going to call the police.
Right. And he's like, well, an arrangement has been made. And he's always scratching his beard like this.
Right.
And it's like...
Fucking...
Yeah, and he's like... he just leaves.
Yeah.
He's like, not ever coming back to this costume shop ever again. I'm going to Spirit Halloween from now on to get my sex cult stuff.
Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween's got a whole section of sex cult stuff.
Oh, I'm sure they've sold Eyes Wide Open costumes
Yeah.
at Spirit Halloween. I'm positive of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Get that old Doctor Nose
Yeah.
costume thing.
Oh yeah, the old death mask from the plague masks.
yeah.
Then he reads the newspaper.
And he finds out that a former beauty queen has died.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, now I can actually use my fucking medical license to get in someplace.
It would have been hilarious if
Yeah.
you got denied.
Oh my God. That would have
really
been
would've
great.
been. It really
That would
would've
have been great. It gets
Well,
him
you
in
don't
every-
really have the proper paperwork, sir.
So he gets into the morgue and it's Mandy. She came and she gave without taking.
I stopped myself from saying
God.
this.
Oh God.
You couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it. I tried. You can see it.
You couldn't hardly wait to say it.
Perfect callback, Chuck.
Wow,
Thank
you are on fire tonight, Chuck.
All right. So anyway, it's around this time that he decides to go and bring some cookies to Domino. That's weird.
Yeah.
To bring the hooker a little like Roslyn Bakery's box of something.
Well, the cookie's just away in the door.
not his fucking license.
Yeah, because he's pretty fresh with the girl that's in there, and then she's like, "Actually, I need to tell."
Oh
you
yeah,
something. You should sit
that.
down."
So by the way, that is the hottest apartment in New York. That's a hell of a duo.
Well,
right?
it was.
Well, okay, but there's still one half of a really good
yeah.
duo in that apartment. Domino's not home, and the other girl kind of laughs, saying she may not come back.
It's a weird scene.
Yeah, and so they get a little fresh, and Tom's like, "Hey, I'll take this lady."
Yeah,
Because she's kind of nice to him because she's like, oh, she was really, she talked about you.
I don't think this scene works. And I'll tell you why. She talked about him. Would she not have told her that they didn't actually have sex?
Well, it may have just been applied. She maybe just didn't say anything.
She said you were a really nice guy. I feel like she would have like, I had this guy. He was really cute, really nice guy. We didn't have sex. He paid me anyway. That's the lead in that story. This scene doesn't work for me. It just doesn't.
it doesn't work for me either.
Yeah.
But because she's very sympathetic to him,
right? Because
thinking
she thinks they had sex.
Yes.
Because she's like, I have some really hard news to
You
tell you.
need to know this.
You need to know this. You
Yeah.
need to go get tested. Domino just got news this morning. She has HIV.
Yeah.
So none of this works.
Yeah.
For me at all.
Well, because he could have just said at that point, it's like, oh, that sucks, but we didn't.
We didn't actually have sex.
Right.
And she should have been like, she shouldn't have never like thought it was a weird thing to begin with because she should have known that.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
The only reason for this scene to exist is to put that danger element into his behavior.
Right. Because
like, to
the
put it
next
in his head
scene
that
is.
holy fucking shit, I came this close to something really serious to my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. And yeah.
But that's not, but he also has already had something serious. His life has been threatened now in two ways.
Right.
Because of
Well,
his,
one, he doesn't
because of his
understand,
behavior,
though.
but one he doesn't fully understand.
Right. So he goes back to his office and he calls up lady patient, dad patient, daughter lady.
Oh God. You can do better.
The daughter of the lady of the guy who died earlier,
Yeah.
that kissed him earlier, and he's like, "Hey, maybe she's still up for this." But Henry Gibson answers the phone instead, and he's like,
Henry Gibson.
"That's who it is."
Oh, who is that?
He was on TV shows back in 20 years
I
ago.
thought you were talking about the guy from The Burbs. Isn't that Henry Gibson, the little doctor?
That's something Gibson.
His name's Henry Gibson, I think. Anyway, never mind.
So the
Thomas
fiance,
Gibson.
Thomas Gibson. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Henry Gibson is the guy
Henry
from
Gibson
The Burbs.
is the other guy. Thomas Gibson was what I was thinking.
Gotcha.
Anyway, okay. Sorry.
No worries.
Maybe it is the guy from Burbs. I don't know. in a Thomas Gibson suit.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so he says, he's like, nope, and he goes home, and Nicole Kidman's like, hey, you want some dinner or whatever, blah blah blah. He's like, I got to go back out or whatever, and then he gets a call, and he's got to go see
Ziegler.
And so basically, this is the landing of the movie, essentially, with the punctuation at the end.
Right.
And Ziegler's like, yeah, buddy, you fucked up real bad. And
now I'm going to be real vague about what the actual consequences were.
Well, yeah. Well, he says, first of all, you're the only person who showed up in the taxi. Everybody else showed up in six-figure cars.
He tells him everything he did wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
You left the fucking receipt on the floor or whatever. It fell out of the pocket or whatever.
Yeah, what was the receipt from?
Well, it was written out to him so he could bring it back to get his deposit
From Rainbow
back.
Fun Place.
Oh, yeah.
So then he's like... there was something you didn't know both passwords.
No, there was no.
There was no second password.
There was no second password. So we basically put on an act to
scare you
to leave, and you kind of didn't take it.
Right.
So it had to go to the next level, which was
a note when he goes to the mansion, and then it had to go to a third level, which was Sidney Pollack Ziegler sitting him down and having a heart-to-heart because you kind of broke my heart, Fredo.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right. He did go back to the mansion, and without even buzzing in, car comes out.
They delivered a note to him.
Yeah, it's like, get the fuck out of here.
This is your second warning, final warning, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what about Mandy? And he's like, well, she OD'd. You already knew she was a junkie.
Right.
Which is probably fair.
Yeah, and we punched Bob... or Nick and put him on a plane back to Seattle. He's fine.
He's probably fine.
So a couple things here. That's verifiable. Never in this movie is that verified.
Right.
Cruz could easily track him down in Seattle and find out if he's indeed alive.
Right.
Wouldn't take that much work. Probably just a few flashes of his New York state medical license.
To show up with his badge.
Number two, what real motivation do they have to kill Mandy?
None.
So either it is like a really sinister, like occult thing, or it's just a bunch of rich people watching other people fuck.
I think Ziegler's telling the truth.
I think he is too. I think he is too. But he is vague enough because he doesn't want to give away all. I mean, it's like, this is my world.
This is a secret society. You don't get to know the secret, jerk.
Right.
It's like you don't get to fucking waltz in with your Indiana license for medical practice into the fucking to that South Side.
You and your six figures
Masonic,
don't mean shit here, bro.
Right. Yeah, into the
Masonic
temple and just say, hey, give me all your fucking secrets. Where's your sex dungeon?
One, you didn't even flash your badge at the party.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Yeah. If you had done that. You have a small bathroom, sir. Get out.
Yeah, your bathroom is too small. No couches.
No fuck couches in the bathroom. No bidets, no fuck couches.
So yeah, Mandy got reprimanded, whatever that means, and then
probably
literally killed herself because we know she has a drug problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
She almost killed herself the night before.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
The night before.
That's why I think Ziegler's telling the truth.
I do think. Yeah, I think so. Down to the T. Yeah, I believe that's what happened. Yep.
Yeah. So he then goes home, and lying on the pillow next to Nicole Kidman is the mask.
Yeah.
That was missing.
Jim Carrey. Oh.
It's Jim Carrey. He's like, smoking.
You don't like your wife? I think she's smoking. Oh, God. Sorry.
So he breaks down and he tells her everything. And at this point, like, they're both quite upset. Because at this point, they probably both think, this is it. There's nothing, it's like, But our daughter's about to wake up. We got to put on the act. We got to go take
Christmas
her out.
time.
It's Christmas Eve. We got to go take her
Expecting us
Christmas.
to take her Christmas shopping.
Right. And so they go out, and she keeps saying like, "I want this Barbie," and Nicole Kidman's just kind of nodding. He's like, "Oh, hey, look at that."
Yeah.
Like parents do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chuck's like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Good.
Yeah.
Way to go, buddy," and punch one of the kids on the
looks
arm.
cool. Maybe Santa will bring it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because we've already done our shopping.
Put it on your list.
Put it on your yeah. Oh, jeez, I just did it again.
Will you quit moving the mic?
I'm sorry. I just keep...
Did you just punch yourself in the face?
I was going to say self-flatulating, but that's the wrong.
Self-flagellating.
No, I did that earlier too.
Is it flagellating? What's the word for beating yourself off?
Flagellation. Yeah, flagellation.
Yes, self-flagellating.
G, not T. Anyway, God damn it. Anyway, so he's like, "So what are we gonna do?" She's like, "Well, there's ups and downs and all of this, but there's one thing we gotta make sure we do as soon as possible," which is probably just gonna happen in the fucking bathroom of this FAO Schwartz.
Sure.
Fuck. That's it. Yep. She just said they gotta fuck, and then credits.
Yep.
If I want the last movie I ever make to end with the word fuck.
I wonder how many movies, if that's the only movie in history that's ended with the word fuck.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
It'll be hard to...
It's not that hard to probably find out.
Well, I don't know if there's a database.
I know this thing about a Google machine. I can ask
I don't know if there's a database of that, though. It would all be based on partial recognitions.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's done the work somewhere, probably.
Somebody's. If
but that's
Mr.
a
Skin
lot of
exists,
movies.
It is.
if Mr. Skin exists, Mr. Fuck exists.
No, I don't think so. I think Mr. Skin. You're Mr. Fuck.
Yeah.
Chuck is pointing at himself. I think Mr. Skin is probably a bigger priority than finding out which movies end in the word fuck.
Okay.
I mean,
sorry for bringing up that.
No,
question.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Jason.
It's not that important, guys.
It is pretty important.
What is important is this I alluded to this earlier. I was going to let this conversation play out before I said what I think about this movie now.
Okay.
I still don't love it. I like it. I appreciate it a little more because I understand it a little more. But I think it's just a dragged out conversation about what fidelity is and what is the line.
Well, it's both passwords is what it is.
Yeah. What is the line of being what?
But I think that's it's a good examination of it, though.
That's fair, but it's a lot.
It is a lot. But
you know why I like this movie quite a bit, even though it is lower tier Kubrick? There's an atmosphere to this movie that is, I said it earlier, unsettling. And in a way, it plays out. Every Kubrick movie since 2001, with the exception of probably Barry Lyndon, has an element of horror in it that unsettles you.
Yeah, but I don't even think Tom Cruise takes anything that happens to him seriously enough for me to feel the stakes either.
To me, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter who these characters are, what ends up happening to them. It's about the examination.
I agree.
It's about like finding your own relationship in theirs. It's about confronting things that you may not want to confront about yourself or about your relationship, and it's about like allowing the most popular couple in the world at the time to give you permission to examine things about maybe your own marriage or your own relationship that you have difficulty confronting.
That's fair, but it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It should be a little more interesting, I think.
Maybe.
I get how important those things are, but I also think Tom Cruise never really learns anything. You talk about how it's important to confront things. I don't think he ever does that.
I think
he never does the thing that he's supposed to do.
I don't know that we know. I don't know that we know that because we don't know how sincere he is when he is
trying.
when he's been like exposed, right?
I mean, he tells her what happened.
Right.
But then he asks her, are we going to be okay?
Well,
you think he should know, like, have a part in that conversation? We're talking about a relationship
I think
here.
he wants
and
to
he's
be
still being
okay.
led.
I think he wants to be
sure.
okay. And he doesn't know. He's not getting anything from her.
Okay.
He's asking a lot of her. He's asking a lot of her. He's asking a lot of her, like, right away.
It could be.
It's not really as simple as all that.
Well,
right?
also, he got a lot from her last night.
Right, but he's not getting...
In two different conversations.
He's not giving her enough time to process.
Sure.
Is what I'm saying.
But I think what
he's had a whole fucking 2 days of, like, ridiculousness to process, right? And he's, like, asking her immediately, after he's laid all of this on her, for some sort of determination on the relationship. And it's not fair.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like he's learned anything.
I agree. But I still think the whole journey and the questions the movie asks and the things it confronts is fascinating.
I think this is another thing also, is that this is kind of the classic Kubrick, where it's like everybody's going to have their different perspective. Because I also looked at it as the inversion of, like her telling the story about the naval person hit me with the inversion of, here's an example of when it's not the typical guy leaving the family behind. It's the woman considering it, which is totally anti what we usually think of, because we usually think of, there's no way a mother would leave her kid.
Right.
But it happens.
So you're making
it happens.
You're making the example that Kubrick in the story was trying to break down.
Right.
Like, the fact that you think that is how things are is why it's positioned this way in the movie.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining that.
No, I think you are. But it's like, then beyond that, I still think of this movie not as a relatively straightforward drama. It's, like I said, it's a little bit of a sexual fantasy with a touch of horror, but at the same time, it's like, it's probably what somebody who hears all of this stuff and trying to answer those questions for themselves are getting lost in their head about, but it's actually happening on the outside, where, it's like he's actually experiencing the things that when you're angry or when you're jealous or whatever, you internalize. I think it's just kind of one of those classic Kubricks where everybody's going to have a different kind of twist on how they perceive it or how they're receiving the information, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, the only thing that isn't there is the space baby, but that's probably what's being made in the FAO Schwartz bathroom at the end of this movie.
Oh, the space baby. Well, yeah, I mean, it would have been interesting, honestly, to see a follow-up to this in some way. Maybe more thematically than an actual follow-up. Because I do think that there are things left unsaid, and I think this was clearly something that was really interesting to Kubrick, these themes. And it's also interesting to hear some of the things that his wife, Christiane, said about this story. She didn't want him to make this movie. She hated the novel. I think there were probably personal things that struck a chord with her.
Oh, sure.
That she was not uncomfortable with, right? In their relationship. So I just think it's, there's some exercising of demons and desires in this movie.
Yeah.
That makes it, I think, interesting. And
that stuff is interesting to me. I mean, I totally agree with you. I just wish the story had more punch around it.
Yeah.
To make it more watchable.
Sure. I mean, yeah, there's a reason I haven't watched this movie in probably 20 years. Yeah. But I'm really glad I did. It resonated a whole lot more than it did the last time I watched it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a movie for 20-year-olds because you won't understand what really is being driven at here.
You're just looking at boobs.
Yeah. You stop watching after the first 30 minutes because you don't have to watch anymore. You've already seen Nicole naked like 3 times. It's cool.
Wait. You got to go to the sex cult and see all of those boobs.
I know. I was joking.
There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
With the boobs.
Well, this was a long episode, guys.
It was. But you know what? not as long as the movie. So
Yeah. No.
you know what? That's fine. Do we have anything left here,
I've hit everything I want to hit.
I think the only other
including Nick?
I think the only other like production note I wanted to mention was that Harvey Keitel was originally cast in the Pollock role, Sidney Pollock role.
I don't want to see
again-
him at a fuck party.
He would have been really fucking people at the fuck party.
I think that's part of the reason. I bet. I think there were some things that he was kind of skeeved because he's a method actor. I think he got a little gross with some people on set. I think that's the stories. So I don't want to libel anyone, but or slander anyone. But he also left for commitments to another role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's ass would be safe on that set.
No, it was eyes wide shut, more like butts wide open.
It definitely does change the whole dynamic of that character, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 I mean, Sidney Pollock is like, grandpa director, you know?
Yeah.
He was also really good,
Harvey
like-
Keitel is like skeevy New York dude.
Yeah.
But Sidney
That would
Pollock,
totally change how I thought the Ziegler delivery at the end would be.
Yeah.
But would you have believed Harvey Keitel to be
Fuck
that
no.
rich?
I don't think I would have believed
If he had his
story.
mustache.
I don't know if I would have believed his story at the
that would have changed the whole entire
Yeah.
way
Sure.
I perceived it, probably.
Yeah.
Sidney Pollock was also good in Tootsie. He was Dustin Hoffman's agent in that.
It was always cool when you saw him show up in something. Yeah.
Anyway, so did we do it?
We did it
next week.
Okay, well, next week, we probably mentioned it a little bit last week with the 1997 look back,
Probably.
but this one deserved its own episode.
Yes.
Next week, we're going to take a look at Mr. Quentin Tarantino's third film,
The third film from Quentin Tarantino.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown.
And boy, oh boy,
It's
is
good.
that a treat.
It is.
So that's going to be next Wednesday. FilmSeizure.com. Follow us Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon at Film Seizure. Also, for right now, I guess Twitter is still a thing. Maybe
We're still there.
we'll still figure that
well,
out.
I don't know. This is
Yeah, we're
7 weeks from now. So
yeah, maybe it's dead by then. Maybe the whole universe has exploded. Who knows? Maybe Elon Musk finally took his moonraker up and gassed the rest of us on this planet. Anyway, so yeah, but anyway, you can follow us at those places. You can find those places at filmseizure.com. We have a little box that has all the little icons of the places you can follow us, all of the different places that you can listen to us, like Spotify, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And I probably forgot one.
You're
Stitcher, maybe.
Anywhere you
All
can
those
find
places.
a podcast.
Just go
to home base.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is next Wednesday is Jackie Brown. Next Monday at all of those same places, filmseizure.com and all the other places at all, is the next episode of Monster Mondays. And I am taking a look at the middle chapter of the anime Godzilla trilogy from Netflix.
Nice.
Not really. Those aren't very good, but it's fine.
Just say nice every time you say something. I don't know what it is half the time.
he's being
when I say
supportive.
nice.
He's being supportive, but I'm telling you, they're not great movies, but I still find 3 things I like about them. So there's that. This Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, starts David Winters' Winter. David Winters is an interesting, he's an interesting director. He
David
made,
Winter's Winter.
yeah, that's
The movie's
that's
called
what
Winter.
I called it.
Huh.
I'm calling it that month. I'm calling it David Winters' Winter
Oh,
because it's January. You know, it's cold.
Look at that.
It's
Look at
winter.
that.
Ice cold.
I'm kicking things off with Thrashin', which is a fantastic slice of 80s awesomeness.
That was a staple of my youth.
Oh boy, is it fun. Is it fun. So go to bmovieanima.com to read that article on Friday. So with that, I guess we're done here. So, you know, yeah, I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.